multifaceted question, Jean.
It's kind of, we have the same answer.
Yeah, it's Stu, of course. Stu's our little shining light of joy. But Stu has been such an influential professor here at Biola. He literally made my whole Biola experience. When they brought him in sophomore year, it was our sophomore year. And he's just been such a great influence and has helped all of us, print, journalism, PR, anything, anybody that took his class. And he just has a heart for the students, and he's really encouraged us and made us feel like we could be real journalists, because a lot of people in this career, I feel like, doubt themselves. Just because it's such a competitive field, and Stu's just been so motivating and has given us the tools to succeed and just been like the fatherly figure.
Something with Belina said, just touching on like encouraging, like Stu, like one of his greatest qualities is that he does encourage, and he is very uplifting, and he's able to see certain qualities in people that like he's able to bring them out of people. And so, yeah, he's just been really encouraging and challenging us. But yeah, he's definitely our Biola daddy.
Probably one of the most influential professors for me was Lansbaum. I think the thing that I liked about him was that he really challenged us and asked tough questions, and really forced us to evaluate our writing critically.
I would probably say Dr. Longanow, for a couple reasons. First of all, he's my personal mentor as a print student, and I've considered him a friend over the past few years, and he was one of my first professors. He taught us our, what are they even called back then? They've changed names.
Foundations of journalism.
They weren't called that when we were there, but the initial journalism classes, so we got introduced, I think, to Biola journalism by him, and then he's shaped my path in this school more than anybody else by far.
The best thing about Professor Kim is that she invests her time into her students, and not in a generic way, but in a fulfilling, personal, consuming way. And that's something that you don't get with a lot of professors.
I just remember every time I was stressed out or overwhelmed about school and life in general, I would walk into her office, and she would always just be the most encouraging person, the most encouraging professor that I've ever met in my life is Professor Kim. And so in that aspect, she really, she stands apart from all the other professors I've had in my years in college.
One person that really helped me out while I was here at Biola was Tamara Welter. She's been very helpful and encouraging in everything that I'm doing, just affirming. There was one time where I was feeling pretty low and not adequate enough for what I was doing, and she just randomly said, "Hey, you're good at what you do, and you need to keep remembering that." And that's perfect timing. Tamara's really sensitive, and I really have appreciated that in her and in my interactions with her. Yeah, that's one thing about all of them that's been really great, is that they've made themselves accessible to whenever we need help. Whenever I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'll go to Longanow, and he'll be like, you're doing great, Joe.
Yeah.
And just that kind of energy has been really helpful.
Yeah, but that's like really impressive, because that's just something at my previous university. It's hard to get in contact with professors, so I was so shocked. Longanow he would just respond to me in like 2 minutes, and that's how like most everybody that I've ever emailed or tried to get in contact with, it's not hard. And so I expect it to be that way. Like after I leave, I want to keep in touch with everybody, and I know I feel comfortable doing that, and I know they'll be willing to help me out and share my successes and give me help when I'm doing awful. And it's just like really welcoming, and that's something that you don't see a lot. Like that's
Yeah.
rare, and I think you can take advantage of it.
Mhm.
Well, I know Stu's always saying deadlines. Like when you get out in the real world, they're not going to give you like a grace period. Like especially like with doing Eagle Vision and your packages, you have to have stuff ready when, whoever says it's ready by. So he's always stressing that, and I think that's something that a lot of people do need to learn. But that's something that's like stuck with me, that like he's trying to simulate it like to the real world, so deadlines, and then when we get out there, it's not going to be a shock. So
I think we've gotten a very good news instinct and well-rounded as well. Like the whole department is all about convergence, and that is really what's going to get us a job in the long run. Being one-man band, working the internet, working Twitter, knowing how to edit your stuff, shoot your stuff, write your stuff. It like brings together all the different components of all of our different emphasis within journalism into one, and I think that's what's been really, really great with Biola's department, because we are so multifaceted and know how to do all those things, and a lot of people, you would be really surprised, don't know how to.
What's most important to me is not the journalistic tools necessarily that I've learned here, like just how to report or how to ask questions or how to take notes right, but the ethical importance that we've learned of like how we act and how we interact and how we do our job. So at a normal school, you might not get the education we've gotten in that side of things, how important integrity is and how much our actions have an ethical weight. Like we'll report on stories that mean huge deals to people, and they could ruin some people or hurt others. I think Biola, with its emphasis on us as not only as journalists but as Christians, has prepared me for that in a way that I don't think I would have gotten anywhere else. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. One other thing that's been really, really big for me is just like the student leadership and how we have so many abilities or so many opportunities to get involved in various capacities here on campus. And it's real, it's like this is actual experience that is going to help you out, and like including copies of The Point in my portfolio when I leave, being able to be editor-in-chief of a publication that is award-winning, like that is experience that is so valuable, and I really think is going to give me an edge when it comes to the job market.
So one of the main things that I'm going to take from Biola into the next steps of my life is just the level of professionalism that I've acquired from being in the various classes. And I owe that to Professor Kim and to Dr. Longano and all of the professors that I've had here at Biola. They've just been able to teach us how to carry out our faith in a professional manner, how to interact with our colleagues, how to interact with future clients, and be able to do so without compromising my faith or my ethics and morals. So coming to Biola and just being able to take that into my future is something that there's no money that can pay for that.
One thing I would take from Biola is the ability to be encouraging to the people around me. Professor Kim has taught me how valuable that is. Dr. Longanow, my goodness, just every time that I just felt like I wanted to give up, it was these professors that really made a difference in my life. It's actually something I'll never forget.
The number one thing that I can take with me in the 4 years that I've done journalism is number one, having an inquisitive mind. The journalism department is always emphasizing ask relevant questions, who, what, when, where, why. And it seems like something that you would just do by default, but having that hammered into you all the time makes you start thinking about the world in different ways and having new perspectives on just life. Having the presence of mind to see something happen in the world and say, what just happened? Who's involved? Why is it important to myself? Why is it important to other people? That's just something that you don't really get told to do as much if you're not a journalism major. And whether or not I work in the journalism field someday, that's going to stay with me.
I've also learned in this department that you can try to do things in your own strength and in your own power and try to be, handle everything on your own, but it's really the most effective when you can find those people who are really good or really passionate in their one area and then collaborate and work as a team and a group effort, because that's when you're going to come out with the best product.
Wait. Hey! Thanks to the whole journalism department, really. And Stu especially, because me Corazon.
I agree. I concur.
I concur. I am Gina.
Oh, so I am looking at you? Oh, okay. It's like, you mean you don't want me looking at God when I say that?
Okay, we're running out of space.
All
One
right.
more time.